Hi, this is Marcus Bruno Real Estate, and I'm with Antonio Cheeks with Largo Financial Services. Antonio, how are you today?
Man, I'm doing great today. A little cold, but I can get through it.
Yeah, it's one of those chilly days. I'm glad to be inside and not showing homes. Um, Talk to us a little bit about life insurance and why it's important to have life insurance right now.
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. I appreciate this opportunity to be on your platform and share some, dynamic information with your listeners. And it's my intention and my prayer that, they get some information that they'll be able to walk from and actually implement today. So thank you so much for that. So your question again, why is insurance important? I mean, I tell you, I like what you do as a service and you and your team, providing families with, the American dream. I mean, everybody wants a home, right? It's like that's what we strive for, we work hard for, and that having that picket fence, back in the day, you used to have that white picket fence and the red door, and you had your backyard and the swings and everything like that, and it's a beautiful picture of accomplishment when you can get that home finally. Well, one thing we do is to make sure that when you and your team place someone in a home, we want to make sure they're able to keep the home even in the event of an unexpected event. So our company, or over at Largo Financial Services, we primarily focus on life events. So not auto, not home insurance, those things that are mandated mostly by the state, you got to have it. But we actually focus on those things that will actually keep you in your home, such as, or get you out of your home, such as a catastrophic event like a heart attack, stroke, cancer, or in the event that the income earner or earners, I mean, there are some situations where both income earners either lose a job or there's an unexpected illness or death in the family. Our goal is to make sure that families are able to keep and maintain that American dream and have choices. It's one thing to be, to have an event that you didn't expect happen, and then there's the sorrow and the hurt that goes along with that. But it's another thing to not have choices. And what insurances does for you is make sure you have choices as a family or a loved one that's left behind. We want you to have choices.
You know, you talked to me a little bit about how you got into business, and I think that was a great story. And
Oh,
talk to me a
wow,
little bit
yeah.
about, what made you get into the insurance field?
Well, you know what? I didn't start out wanting to be in insurance, and I don't think too many people do, And matter of fact, a lot of people don't even say insurance. They'll say something like financial services or something like that. But at the bottom line, it is what it is. We get excited when we have our money insured. Oh, make sure it's FDIC, FDIC insured, and when we have our automobile insured. So we get excited about insurance for other things. But when it comes to our personal being, it's like one of those topics we don't want to touch. And in some cases, it's actually, especially if you're older generation or from the South, I've seen people who think it's taboo to even talk about it. But those who are wealthy, they actually start out planning insurance. So when we give our kids, a new truck or something like that, they're getting insurance policies and building up, some type of equity in their insurance policies. It's one of those things that a lot of us don't realize that that's what the rich people do. But back to your question, how did I get into it? I actually fell into it, literally fell into it. I was a sales trainer back in the 90s with MCI, WorldCom. I don't know if you remember, there used to be a big long distance company around in the market. And I was actually a sales trainer there. They're not around anymore. So we all got laid off on one day. We got called in early, and there was this big table with all these envelopes on the table. And I was like, wow, wow, it's actually happening. We're getting that severance package, and we're getting kicked to the curb. And so I actually, in a search for what to do next, started doing insurances. But I was started out doing healthcare, health insurance for a company called it was Mamsie back in the day. I think it's United Healthcare now. But we started out with Mamsie. I started there, and I worked there for several years. And as you probably know, in the financial services businesses, and when you're doing with monies, you have to go through continuing education or CE credits or CEUs, depending on your industry. And so one year back in the late 90s, I was sitting in Virginia, right across the bridge here in Alexandria, Virginia, and I had to take this course. And when I took the course, the instructor was talking about life insurance, which is something I didn't have to worry about because I was on the health side of the industry, health insurance. But I decided to take this class just to broaden my information. And when he was up there talking, it hit me that, we're supposed to leave an inheritance for our family. Even if it's just $25 to $50 a month, we should prepare our families to be able to go on and have choices in the event that something was to happen unexpectedly to us. And so as he was sitting teaching the class, I realized something. And that realization was that one signature could change the outcome or generations to come financially. One signature. And back then we had to use paper. So now a lot of stuff is, automated, and, everything goes through a lot quicker and jet issue. But back then it was a couple of forms you had to fill out, and then you sign that piece of paper. And in the event that something were to happen to you, you could take care of your family, whether it be educationally, money for college and or school, different types of schools, trade schools, because college is not for everybody. So it could be that maybe someone wanted to go to a technical school or something like that. Now you would have the funds to be able to do that. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, what a unselfish act that a person could do just by being courageous enough to say, I'm gonna take one signature,
Hmm.
small amount, big impact on my household and my family to come. So that right there made me think, wow, who would not take advantage of that?
Right. Amen.
Yeah.
Now, are policies different now than they were 10 years ago?
You know what? That's a very good question. And the answer to that is absolutely. So a lot has changed, in the sense that typically when we thought about, excuse me, life insurance, one of the drawbacks to it is people thought that there was no benefit in them having a policy for themselves. They didn't see any value in it for themselves. They always thought that it was something for people down the road or for someone that I left behind. Well, things have drastically changed because human condition has changed, and so insurance companies have to keep up with what's going on with the times and with what certain conditions are. So in the health conditions that Americans and people around the world are going through, we're seeing an increase in other diseases and health-related issues that are causing families to have need extra money,
Hmm.
and not when they die or pass away. They need the money today. So,
Right.
for example, policies or insurance companies have come up with policies that can take care of multiple situations with one policy, and that's the area we specialize in, is having that ability to give a customer or client one policy that will handle things while they're living. So you don't have to, pass away or die to actually take advantage of the benefits of a life insurance policy now. I'll give you a quick example is that now policies will contain provisions and funds for if you almost die. So you're
Hmm.
not actually passing away, but if you probably know someone in your family or friends who've had at least a heart attack,
Hmm.
cancer, stroke, or some type of renal failure or something like that. And so typically, health insurance, when you want to go experimental treatments and things of that nature, that stuff actually costs a lot of money. And so what we find out is that the health insurance policies don't cover that. They don't have the funds for that, or they don't see it as medically necessary.
Hmm.
So if that's the definition in your policy, in your medical policy, how are you going to get coverage, or where's that money going to come from? Are you going to go around collecting? I've seen situation where a gentleman had cancer and they had to do a fundraiser online
Hmm.
trying to raise money
Yeah, I've seen that.
for, you saw that, right, for
I've
this,
seen
for
that.
treatment. And so, there's another way of doing that. You could end up getting a lump sum, 50 to $100,000 or more, depending on how you structure your policy, that will come directly to you while you're living, so you and your family can take care of the necessary treatments that you would have to go through to survive. So that's drastically different in that you don't have to wait until you actually pass away. You can actually keep living.
Right.
The other thing, Bruno, is, like I was saying, you and your team, man, y'all are doing a great job getting families in homes. On the other hand, we want to make sure they stay in their home. So an event like a heart attack, stroke, cancer, things like that, you don't die. Well, where's this money coming from? And will you be able, if you're laid up, that means the income is going to stop.
Right. Right.
So how are you going to keep your mortgage going if especially if you're the breadwinner? Or actually nowadays it takes two breadwinners to make your mortgage, take care of everything. So how are you going to do that if you're laid up with a serious injury or a chronic injury? chronic injury or critical, illness that's going to be lingering on. So, where's that money going to come from? Well,
Now,
it's going to come now from your insurance policy.
how affordable is a policy like that?
Yeah, good question. I love that when it comes to affordability, it all plays into a couple of things. Time, for one. The sooner you get it, because it's age based, the sooner you get it, the easier and the cheaper it's going to be. That's with anything. Time is very, important. Even with when you're saving, just putting money in any type of savings vehicle, the earlier you start doing it, the better, the more growth opportunities you have. So the thing with life insurance, there's a policy and a situation for every income level, whether it be, hey, you know what, I have $25 a month. That's all I can deal with. Where there's an amount of coverage you can get to protect your family for $25 a month. It could be $50 a month. You could do that. It could be, totally up to, really sitting down with someone and actually creating a structure and a design that's going to be best for you and your family. So it's affordability for everyone. It just depends on when you want to get started, your health at the moment that you get started. Health and time and age play a big factor in it. So the younger you are, definitely you want to get it. Even if you're a little more seasoned like I am, there's still some opportunities for you to design a structure for yourself that will be affordable for you. I actually went out and got two policies myself because I was just like so into it. The one thing I don't want to have happen is for someone to ask me, well, where's my policy, and don't have it. So if you believe in something, you better best, like yourself. I know you believe in that. If you're gonna promote something or be a part of something, make sure you're actually a product of that brand.
Awesome. Antonio, what's a good way for any of the people that are watching this video to get in contact with you in case they have
Sure. I mean,
more
I give out
questions?
my direct cell phone number. They can call me directly at 301 204 1901. That's 301 204 1901. Or they can email me, quick email at aecheeks, CHEEKS, at gmail.com. And we're right here if they're in the Maryland, D.C. area, we're right out of Greenbelt, Maryland, over at Largo Financial Services.
Awesome.
Yeah, and we'll be working together soon, man. I mean, really soon. We'll get together, you and I, and we'll look at some of, like I said, I've watched your work and a lot of videos you've done, and seen people smile and be very happy. And we want to partner with you to make sure we keep people in their homes.
Yeah, I look forward to it very much. Well, Antonio, I want to thank you so much for your time, and please keep doing what you're doing. This is Marcus Bruno for Bruno Real Estate signing off.
Man, thank you so much. Take care.